Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome back to a very different sort of video on the channel. Because whilst I'm primarily known for covering Mortal Kombat here, with my affinity and love for mythology and fiction, and the fact I'm a shameless Witcher fan, there was absolutely no way I was gonna miss out on an opportunity to share my love with the series by breaking down some of the new information that has come out regarding The Witcher 4. With that said, for you longtime MK fans, please rest assured that there still will be more MK content coming your way, just with a tad sprinkle of Witcher on the side. You get the best of both worlds here. Now with that said, and us coming off the Game Awards, following the release of the trailer that was spearheaded by Ciri, adopted daughter of former protagonist Geralt of Rivia, we did get some very important information from IGN, as they did have the opportunity to meet, sit down and talk with the devs of CDPR, giving us an idea of what direction they'll be going in, what we can expect to see, who can we expect to meet, as well as ever so softly hinting at the game mechanics moving forward. So today we won't be talking or breaking down the trailer, that will happen a few days from now, but I will be using it as a reference point to kind of supplement these articles here. I will also have them linked down in the description below if you do wish to read them yourselves, because I won't be reading them back word for word. So with that said, what do we now currently know about The Witcher 4? Well, in terms of time period, this game is set to take place several years after the events of The Witcher 3. Presumably after the climax of Blood and Wine, where Geralt has now gone into retirement, and Ciri herself fulfills her own wishes of finally becoming a Witcher. Ciri really does follow through on her word, having undergone the Trial of Grasses, the mutation process required in order to turn a human into that of a Witcher. Hence how now Ciri has feline eyes opposed to her green eyes, also allowing her to ingest Witcher potions, which would normally poison any mortal. Now, in terms of character and design, Ciri does pay homage to Geralt in a number of different ways, wearing very similar Viper armor, somewhat akin to the Witcher 3 Monsters trailer, and if we look closely at her silver sword, we can indeed see it's the blade given to her at the end of The Witcher 3, which also, in turn, does canonize that specific ending. Along with this, Ciri still utilizes her Link's medallion, albeit with a very new design for this game. But beyond her visual aesthetic, what do we currently know of this Ciri? Well, through these articles, we do get a better idea of Ciri's character, as well as what makes her different from Geralt. Because unlike her father figure, who remained apolitical, due to Ciri's blood ties to multiple different kingdoms, she both doesn't and can't remain neutral. What distinguishes Ciri from Geralt here is that whilst the White Wolf has his own codes and own ethics, Ciri, by all intents and purposes, is still on the very early parts of the path. And I quote, "She's way younger, she's still defining her own code, and she's less pragmatic." I think that's what makes her so special as a protagonist overall. She has so many layers and the passion and engagement for being a Witcher, but she wants to be the person that is always choosing a side. There is no neutral anymore in her. So this is a new path, right? And a new experience for the player as well. Now there's a lot of things to take away here, because for one, it wouldn't be a Witcher game without some political intrigue, and two, this may hint at a more linear style of storytelling, because whilst The Witcher 3 had a number of different dialogue options, with Ciri's mindset and perspective on the world, this may mean that CDPR has a different approach for Ciri's storytelling, opposed to what we saw with that of Geralt. Only time will tell here, but it is worth pointing out and mentioning, as choosing the lesser evil was a really important point of quest lines in the prior game. Unfortunately, beyond these tidbits of information here, very little is kind of known of this Ciri here, which is more than likely something done on purpose, and have Ciri be reflective of the player's choices. Something that's actually mentioned by the game director, that says that because Ciri is younger than Geralt, players will have more freedom to define her character in a way they couldn't with Geralt. This also affords the developers more space to explore her character. So Ciri's tale doesn't look to be a distinguished one, but one that is ever evolving from installment to installment. Yet, one thing that can most certainly be said is that Ciri looks jaded, reflective of the world she inhabits, and how it does treat her itself. as it's once again confirmed through these articles that even several years after the event of Wild Hunt, there is still a lot of hostility towards witches. They haven't exactly said this word to word, but they mention how civilization has only heard of witches through rumors, that they are monsters because they deal with monsters, so that is why they are in fear. And since we're talking about monsters, let's actually talk on the beast we do see in the trailer, as it is confirmed through these articles that it is a Bark, a boogeyman-like figure of Serbian legend. This is a beast of magic designed to prey on the mind and feed on negative emotions, having them manifest as your greatest nightmares, at least according to CDPR's interpretation of this beast. So much like previous Witcher games, CDPR is continuing to integrate more European folklore and monsters to their universe. With that said, whilst it's very vague, they do confirm that the game will have monsters inspired by Norse, Celtic, and Slavic mythology, bringing both old and hopefully new prey to the series. Now of course, it is worth mentioning the elephant in the room of where is Geralt of Rivia. Well, whilst they don't address it directly nor his whereabouts, it is mentioned by the executive producer that Ciri was the very organic logical choice. It was always about her, starting from Saga when you read it in the books. She's an amazing layered character, and of course, as a protagonist, we said goodbye to Geralt previously. So this is a continuation. I guess for all of us, it's like she was meant to be. That was always her. So this does more or less solidify Blood and Wine's ending, allowing Geralt to have his sunset ending in Toussaint. With that said though, Geralt's voice actor Doug Cockle has also accidentally revealed that he will be returning back to voice Geralt. Up to what capacity we don't currently know, as it could wind up being a flashback, or he could actually appear in game, but I would definitely expect his return to be at a limited capacity. Either way though, it's great to have him back under the mantle, even if he isn't the main star of the show. Now to touch on the gameplay itself, again, details are being purposely left vague, as the only mention of it is that they wish to improve on the Witcher 3 gameplay, but also we want to improve the alignment of the way you will be able to explore the world. So there's very little to gauge of how things will play out moving forward, but I do hope that in the gameplay department, the gameplay is a bit more engaging and tight, as it's largely deemed as one of the more weaker aspects of The Witcher 3. With that said, this last half definitely does bring some intrigue in terms of level design, but it's just so vague this could entail anything. As for power and abilities though, this is where things get super interesting for me. Because whilst we have the classic utilization of Igni and Quen, we do actually see Ciri utilize magic in the trailer by casting lightning at the Bark, clearly signs and influence of Yennefer's tutelage. So Ciri, unlike Geralt in that regard, would not be strictly limited to the 5 Witcher symbols, more than likely opening up a different way and approach for character builds. Something to pull away from the trailer was her enchanting the chain. Now this is designed to be more of a homage to that of The Witcher 1, where Geralt does encounter the Striga. As it does say in the article, you remember Geralt fighting with a Striga? In this case, she's not only using a silver chain, but also enchanting it to make it more powerful. It is a utility tool to shorten the distance to deliver a final blow. One thing that I was very surprised we didn't see was Ciri's own utilization of the Elder Blood, something completely absent from this trailer, but of course was a very pivotal plot piece in The Witcher 3. Now when asked about this, they do lightly skirt around giving us a true answer here, saying the following: there are various interpretations of this prophecy, but essentially people believe that Ciri's child will either be the savior of the world or the avenger who destroys it. In The Witcher 3, we see that the Elder Blood affords Ciri certain abilities. She's known as the Lady of Space and Time, and in the books, we see she's able to travel between dimensions, thanks to this Elder Blood. But the main reason that people pursue her is because of that prophecy. So unfortunately, this kind of is a nothing answer, but considering how prevalent it was in 3 and how absent it is now, I'm slightly worried knowing what the Trial of Grasses can do to someone, maybe having erased it from her own DNA. But that's my own skepticism. Knowing the nature of the Lara gene and how sporadically dangerous it can be, maybe the main reason why Ciri isn't utilizing it here is just due to the fact it's far too dangerous, and should, or probably will, be utilized in a do or die situation. And this all now then takes us onto the final line of the trailer. that there are no gods here, only monsters. And this line itself is largely reflective of what we got in the Monsters trailer, where it does look like despite Ciri and Geralt being their own characters, they do share the same perspective on how the world looks at them, as well as how they can see mortals. If anything else, the trailer is designed to be the tone setter, as I do have another quotes here. We wanted to kind of leave room for interpretation. You don't know what she's about to do, but the way she delivers it, you know that there are no gods here in this forest. There was only a monster, and it is that simple. It's kind of like, who is the monster? For her, it's about being this hope in all of that. Still with this passion, even though the world is very dark, you can still fight for it. Now this for the most part does largely summarize the contents and key details of these interviews, highlighting what we can expect to see from gameplay, world design, as well as Ciri herself. Being the main protagonist naturally does put her in very big and very ambitious shoes. So I'm very intrigued to find out and learn more as we continue to move forward. With that said, please do remember that I have the links for these articles down in the description below. Please do check them out if you want to go into more detail. But for now, I do want to say thank you very much for sticking by this long and watching this video. This is my first actual video covering the Witcher series, something I'm both very passionate and nervous about. So if you did enjoy this, please do give it a thumbs up, as it really goes a long way with supporting the channel, and I'll definitely be looking to make more of these in the future coming into the new year. So for now everyone, as always, stay strong, stay well, and take care on the path.